Starting, all attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. We'll just give everyone another minute to go ahead and log in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, well, hello, everyone. This is D. London, and welcome to the Trimble Business Center Power Hour. We have all attendees in listen-only mode, but we welcome all questions and comments. So feel free to type them into the Q&A tab in the panel, and we'll respond accordingly. With us today, we have Nick Pfeiffer, who is the CEC Software Solutions Regional Sales Specialist, Josh Cho with the Trimble Geospatial TBC testing team, and Grant Higgins, who is the Application Specialist with the CEC Software Solutions team. And during today's webinar, we'll focus on Trimble WorksManager. What is Trimble WorksManager? What the interface looks like, and how data is transferred, along with what you'll need to get up and running and where to find those resources. So with Trimble WorksManager, the data hub connecting civil contractors to the critical information they need to get the job done right the first time. WorksManager is an intuitive solution allowing for a seamless transfer of up-to-date information from the field to the office, and is optimized with the latest Trimble technologies and integratable with solutions you may already utilize like Earthworks, SiteWorks, and Trimble Business Center. And with that, I'll pass it over so we can continue with some background and insight into Trimble's WorksManager.
Good morning, I'm Grant Higgins, and with Joshua Cho, we're going to look at a live demo of Trimble Business Center, integrations with Trimble WorksManager and Trimble SiteWorks. We're going to start with WorksManager workflow, creating a project, adding designs, publishing those designs, and adding devices, and managing and monitoring, and some remote support. So let's start with WorksManager here, and we'll sign in using your Trimble identity. So I'll just get my right login here. Oh, that's a little unfortunate, isn't it? There we go. Right, that's looking a little better. So the landing page when you log in will go to the My Projects page, where you'll see a list of all the projects that you have access to. So what we're going to do is click across here on the My Accounts page, and you would see here, if you're a multi-account user, a list of all the accounts that you have access to. Our account is Trimble WorksManager, so we'll search for that up here and select that. And once you select your account, the first page that you get to is your devices page, and what you'll see here is a list of all the devices that have been added into your account that are owned by your account. What I want to do is click on projects page here again, and this list of projects will be the projects that Trimble WorksManager own. But what we want to do at the moment is click on Create over at the top right and make a new project. So in the top pane here, you'll see the account is what we selected just before, Trimble WorksManager. If you get to this stage and you haven't selected that, you'll get the opportunity to select it from an active drop down here. So the project today, we're going to call it Belfast Overpass. And move through the wizard. We come to the map page and we have the opportunity of either panning and zooming to the location or enter an address here. So we'll enter an address. We get a pop-up list and we can click and pan to the area. We just zoom out a little bit there, and as the map refreshes, should be able to see the work in progress on a reasonably recent map. And the next step is to draw a boundary around our project area. So we click the Draw Boundary button and trace around an area that's outside the project. And you'll notice the Close Boundary button pops up. If we click OK, it'll close that boundary for us. And there we go, there's our boundary created. And we'll move to the next step of the wizard. The configuration files for the project get added here. If you have them, this is best practices to add all the files that you need here. And the main reason for that is if you go back and change configuration files later, then that will force you to increment the designs. So we'll click on calibration file. I know I have one of those, and this is the right one here. I don't have a geoid control points for avoidance zones, a feature code library or site config available at this time. So I'll move on and create the project. So that should return us to the project list. I'll just update shortly. A little slow to update this morning. And there we go. So Belfast Overpass, the project that we just created. And what we want to do now is select that. So if we select this here, we'll see a pop-up pane at the right-hand side. And at this point, if we think we've made a mistake, we could actually delete that project again by clicking the Delete Project icon. What we really want to do is click through users, and since I've only created it as the admin, these are actually all the users in our organization, but what we want to do is add a user to our project. So we'll click Add here. Sorry, I think I'm adding an account user. I didn't select the project back in this pane here. It's unfortunate delay there. So I need to select the hyperlink to load the project. And now we'll move on to members. I'm the only member here, but what I want to do is to add Josh here so that he can use the TBC integrations and publish some designs from TBC. So let's see. So it's added Josh to the list of all the users in my account, and if I wanted to add more, I could just hit the plus and it would put a tick beside them. I'll add users, and Josh will get an invitation email to this project. What we also want to do while we're here is add a new device to our project. The project has none at the moment added that we have listed here. So I have got a SPS 986 emulator that I want to add in here. So no, the device isn't in the list here. If I click my devices, I'll get to the list and I can add a new one here by clicking up the top right. So the first panel here in the Add New Account dialog is the device model. So we've got the EC520 from the Earthworks machines, CB430 for 5460 and CD700 from the GCS generation, and survey tablets and devices here. We're going to click tablet for the 986. This is pre-populated with my PC emulator serial number. But what if I just pop across here to the emulator? I'll show you where to get that. If we hit the menu and go to data management over here, under the WorksManager settings, up in the top left, we'll see the tablet type, the device type, so tablet dash spacer, and then my serial number, in this case, DAL-JRWCLQ2. We need over here to give the device a name in the SPS 986, and so I'm going to call that Grant SiteWorks, and then the organization needs to be entered in here, and that was Trimble WorksManager. So this is the equivalent of your TCC org short name that you currently might have in TCC. And we'll enter a password here. Now it's important that the password that we enter here and the device name are the same that we use when we go back to WorksManager. So enter a password. And if I click test here, it's going to try and reach out to WorksManager, and due to a little bug that is in the system at the moment, the first time you do that, that'll fail. So if we click OK and click test again, that's unfortunately failed again. That's because I haven't got the correct details in here. So I'll correct these. SiteWorks, and we'll call that grants controller. Same password. And let's add that here. It gives us a message reminding us that we need to make sure that these details are the same as we were entering on our device. So now that we've added that, I'll go back to WorksManager and we'll try test again. And the second time was successful. Right, so we're just going to accept that for now. Another point that I should have made is there is a field here for workgroup. So at this point, workgroup's not supported, so don't enter any details here because everything will fail. Right, so we've added our emulator to our account, but what we haven't done is add the device to the project. But before we can add a device to the project, it needs to be claimed. So let's look for our device here. I'll just search the list, and I've got a excavator that's already added to this project, and there's my controller. We'll see it's got a caution icon here. If we click on that, we'll get a little bit more information in the panel at the side, and it's quite a nice message here that explains that it's not claimed, and to do that we have to synchronize our field device, in this case SPS 986 SiteWorks, to WorksManager. So to do that, we'll go back to WorksManager, up to the menu, data management and back to this dialog we had here. And if we click accept here, we should be able to move in here, click project setup, and if we click change project, we'll just load a project short temp here. Oh well, actually we'll use this access road and accept that. Now, if we go to data management and WorksManager sync, it'll start synchronizing with WorksManager in the cloud. Accept that. We don't want this to happen. Accept. So that'll take a few moments to synchronize through. I think while this is synchronizing, this is a good time for me to introduce Josh and let him take us through the TBC integrations with WorksManager.
Thanks, Grant. You'll hand it back over, hand the presentation over to me.
Yep. There we go.
Sweet. Can everyone see my screen? Okay, I'm going to assume that's it.
Yep.
That's a yes. All right.
Yeah, I can see it.
Sweet. So just a brief introduction. My name's Josh. I am a testing intern with the Trimble Business Center QA team. And I'm going to be walking through the Trimble Business Center portion of this demo. So the main message with Trimble Business Center is that we still want it to be the central data hub for all of your project settings and WorksManager designs that you'll be publishing out into the field. So with the release of WorksManager, we are also planning a new version release for Trimble Business Center called 5.21. And this release is mainly focused on integrating Trimble Business Center with WorksManager. Right, so here you can see I have a project in Trimble Business Center, but first I'm going to switch over to WorksManager. And first, I'm going to go into my email, and I see that I've been accepted to a project that was created by Grant. So it's going to prompt me to sign in to see this project. Just going to have to sign in here really quick, my TID. Right. And on the left here, you see the Belfast overpass project that Grant just created. So I'll enter into this project. On the main page, I see the boundary that Grant created here. If I switch over to members, you can see, give it a second to load. See, myself and Grant are the two members in this project. And if I switch over to my WorksManager settings, you can see the calibration file that Grant added to the project. So now that I've confirmed that I have access to the WorksManager project, I'm going to switch back over to Trimble Business Center. And what I would like to do is I'd like to assign the WorksManager project to my local Trimble Business Center project. So in the construction data tab, we have a new set of commands on the WorksManager in the WorksManager section. I'm going to click on this WorksManager project command, where it's going to prompt me to log into my WorksManager profile or my TID. So I'll just populate my account. Oops. There we go. Okay. And the next window that pops up asks me to assign a WorksManager project. So here in the accounts dropdown, I have a list of all the accounts I have access to, which are pretty much my organization. I'm going to switch over to the Trimble WorksManager one. And it'll also give me a list of projects that are within your project. Sorry, within your account. And one thing to note really quick here is that if you don't yet have a WorksManager project created, you'll first need to go into the WorksManager website, create that project, and then you'll have to refresh this, this window to see the project. So there's currently no method in 521 to create the WorksManager project in TBC. So just keep that in mind. So I have the correct project selected, and I will press OK to accept. And on the right here, you see the WorksManager project command pane pop up. And I have all my information about my profile, my account, and which project I'm in. Okay, and these bottom sections here, I'm just gonna hide a few of these. These bottom sections all represent the different project settings that are within my WorksManager project. So the first thing I'd like to do before sending anything out into the field is to make sure that my WorksManager project in Trimble Business Center is matching the project settings in the WorksManager website in the cloud. So if you recall, Grant added a site calibration into the project, and I want to make sure I'm using the exact same calibration that is in the WorksManager project in this TBC project. So this resolve button lets me know, hey, my site calibration might not be in sync between Trimble Business Center and WorksManager. So I'm going to hit resolve, and I'm going to choose to take that site calibration that Grant uploaded to the website and bring it into Trimble Business Center. Yeah. That was pretty quick, and you can see the version number updated from not saved to version 1 to let me know that the site calibration is now matching between Trimble Business Center and WorksManager. Okay. And same for the project boundary. If you recall that Grant drew a project boundary around the site, and I would like to bring that into Trimble Business Center. And there you go. The project boundary is brought into DBC. Okay. One last thing I'd like to resolve here is the unit section, which is the site.xml. So if you recall earlier, Grant did not have a site calibration created already, but I have I have the units available in the TBC project, so I can just sync that up into WorksManager. This time I've chosen the Publish to WorksManager radio button to publish up into WorksManager. Give it a few moments to wrap that up and send it up into the cloud. Sweet. So now you can see that all the resolve buttons are all disabled, indicating that, hey, my project is all in sync. Okay, so now I'm good to go with creating a design. So what I'm going to do is in this ribbon tab, I'm going to select Create WorksManager Design. Oops. Let's confirm that. All right, and in the command, I'm just going to create a name for my design. Let's call it, just call it Overpass for now. Confirm that. Okay, and here I can add all the contents that I'd like to send out into the field. So for this design, I'd like to send this overpass design here, which is a surface, to a field device. So I'm going to hit Change Model. I'm going to select a surface, and I'm going to choose the surface that's showing in the plan view here. Okay. If I so choose, I can add some stakeout points to that. I can add some background map stuff, design map. But for now, I'm just going to leave that, and I'm going to hit Publish. So what this publish is going to do is it's going to send this design up into WorksManager, and you'll be able to see it in the WorksManager site. And take note of the version number here. Right now, it's not saved, which means that it hasn't yet been published to WorksManager. But you'll see in a moment that after the publishing is complete, the version number will update. Okay. Here's the confirmation dialog. The design has been successfully published. And you can see the version number has been updated to 1. Okay. So now I'm going to switch back over to my WorksManager project. Come over to Designs. And hey, my Overpass design has been uploaded to my WorksManager project. So that concludes the the Trimble Business Center portion of this demo. And I'm going to pass it back over to Grant, who's going to show you how you can actually get this design into SiteWorks. Okay. So Grant, I'll pass it back to you.
Thanks, Josh. Is that screen displaying again?
Yep, looks good.
Okay, so the synchronizer has finished running on SiteWorks, and so I'm going to change back to my WorksManager dialog, WorksManager software, and then I can see that the device has actually been claimed here. And if I click on this, and it opens a dialog at the side, and we can see an amber field software alert here. If I get some information there, I can see that the version is different to what it should be. Sometimes you'd also see a warranty amber, and there are indications that you should contact your dealer and perhaps purchase an upgrade to the firmware. So now that this device has been claimed, I can go ahead and add it to my project. So if I click back on projects again, and we want to search for a project out of the list, hopefully make it a little faster. A little delay there again. So Belfast Overpass, we'll select this. And now that we've got a project loaded again, if we click on devices, we can see that there's no devices associated with the project. So we can add that now, and the SiteWorks device that we had added and has been claimed is now on our list, available to add. And then we can see one device has been added to the project. While we're here, we'll go back and we'll add the excavator that we have running. And that's been added to our project also. So now that those devices have been added, I can go back to SiteWorks and we can now synchronize our project to the device. So our details were in before, so we don't have to go back there and check those. Just get the latest data from WorksManager. We want a project. This will populate shortly. We'll just synchronize the temp project because it seems our new project isn't quite available yet. It takes a wee moment to synchronize these up through the cloud. Along now, hopefully. There's nothing in the temporary project, so it shouldn't be too much longer. See a work order there synchronizing. Yeah, it does take a wee while to synchronize these projects, so have to have a bit of patience there. I'm going to reload this project. What we should be able to do now is go to project setup, change project, and ideally, if this is all, well, we should be seeing our project there. So unfortunately, that hasn't quite happened for us at the moment, and I'm not entirely sure why. Let's just try that one more time. Apologies for the delays here. Finally. So there's our project, Belfast Overpass.
Yeah, so it does look like it took a little bit of time to read that project in.
So there, we can accept that now that we have it populating in the project list. It'll synchronize the last of the data. And all going well, we'll have this synchronized over here successfully. So that's a good sign. And if we go back up here to project setup, we need to click change project and select overpass again. We'll create a small work order here, asking our surveyor to topo the original ground. Give him a note about when it's due, and why. If we finish that, then we can move on to selecting a design if we needed a design. In this case, we don't, and accept that. So now the surveyor can go out and he can measure some points. I'm actually having a rethink that maybe we would add a design to this, just so we can get some reference. So I'm going to add it just from a local store here. If I can find it. So I'll throw that TTM in there for them and finish that. Take a second for that to load up. All right, so now that we can see in there, surface, and our survey can go and walk around here and survey this. So if I click on here, we'll connect a device. It's going to be the Rover, connect with Bluetooth. Oh, actually, we won't connect with Bluetooth. I think what we'll do is use the emulator, radio and receiver, channel 1, pace emulator, quick release, no. We'll make this just a very short poll so that we can have the emulator on the ground. So if I click on here and measure a point, we'll call this spot height. We'll just pick up 4 points quickly here. So we've collected those 4 points in our work order, and now what we need to do is go and synchronize that back with WorksManager. So as that syncs, that'll pass our work order and point data with the work order back to WorksManager, and we'll be able to retrieve that information in the office and display that in Business Center and be able to use that for calculating our volumes. Again, a bit of a wait for the synchronization process to work through. Just a couple more moments there. We won't reload the data collector here, but what we will do is just switch over here. Actually, you probably got that annoying beeping there. So what I'll actually do here is change the project mode. All right, so switch back to WorksManager, and if I click on the controller here, I may be a little premature, but I should be able to click on View Data here and see my file. There we go. So there's our work order type of roundabout area, SPJ file. I'll select that, and then we can download that. So it's downloading it locally here to my laptop, and I can then pass that file across to Josh. I'll do that for you here, Josh.
If you'd like, I could just grab the SPJ file from the website as well.
Yeah, that's probably a little cleaner.
Okay. So you'll pass it back over to me.
Shall. There you go.
All right. So go into the device again, field data, wait for that to load. There we go. Here's the same work order that Grant created in the SiteWorks emulator. Go ahead and download that. All right. And back in my my Trimble Business Center project, here's that same project that I used to upload the design. Here is the overpass. I'll just zoom in here so we get a better look at it. Okay. And I'm going to bring in the work order that was just created. For now, I'm just gonna cancel out of this error message. And if I scroll back in, here is the topo shots that were taken in the field. And here is the surface that was created. And you can see, and one thing to note is that you see that the topo shots are in the same location as the design that was published to WorksManager. And that's because the site calibration was matching between the WorksManager project, WorksManager, and in the site controller. Okay, sweet. So I'll pass it back over. Did you need to show anything else, Grant?
Well, Josh, I was going to show the remote access to to an Earthworks device. You can switch it over, and I can just show the screen here. Unfortunately, the machine that was reporting in last night is not made itself available this morning. You can see my screen again? So what I'm expecting to see here is this remote icon here in green. At the moment, it is indicating that it's inactive. I have it set up as an emulator behind me. I can see that it genuinely is active. So what should happen is this should turn green. When I click on this, it would open up the Earthworks web access page. And then what I was hoping to show you was we could select a monitoring option there, and we can actually view the operator's screen. So as I said, we had this functioning last night. It seems to be not functioning right now, so I must apologize for that. And so unfortunately, that's about as far as I can move forward with demonstrating this. There is no remote access at this time for SiteWorks, but that I guess that will come in the future. So I'm afraid that completes our demonstration of WorksManager and its integration with TBC. So apologies for the glitches that we've had along the way. Thank you for joining us.
Perfect. Hey, so thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. That was a great presentation. A couple of questions that have come across that we have some time, so I figure we could take care of them. First question that we have here from the crew: are you able to share work orders and projects to another handheld through WorksManager? I'm assuming you're talking about the need to assign devices to that. As long as you have an SCS 900 or SiteWorks system, you can assign those to that project, and then you can actually get that data. Am I misinformed based off of that, or is that explained correctly, guys?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You can go through that process of adding that device to your WorksManager project, and then yeah, you could send those work orders backward and forward to SiteWorks.
Perfect.
One caveat I would add is sorry, Nick. In the first version of the WorksManager integration in Trimble Business Center, we currently don't support adding work orders from Trimble Business Center into WorksManager. So just a caution, note of caution there. It will be coming in a future release.
But they are able to be gotten back from the field at the very least.
Yes,
and that's
yes, for sure.
Part, right? And then another question that came across: will WorksManager work with tablets running SCS 900? The answer to that is yes. Is there a versioning cutoff for SCS 900, guys, where it won't work with it, or is it just 3.x forward? You're good. Does 292 work? And can you fill in on that?
I don't know the answer to that right now, but we can get back to find out and get back to you later, and publish that as an answer to one of these questions from the seminar.
Okay, so we'll have to follow up on that. IBSS will be managed through WorksManager. Just going through some of these questions. And lastly, is there a way to separate devices out by task, i.e. dirt crews, asphalt crews, concrete crews, etc.? Just so the data is properly being organized. The answer to that right now is no. It's by site and design only. So as more questions come in, we will answer those going on. I figure we can go through the wrap up part of this, so I should be able to present now. And let's just get this going. So again, thanks everybody for joining us on this webinar today. Just resources and next steps. If you guys want to learn more or get your hands on this solution, best thing to do is to contact your local site tech, get them to set it up, come out there and show you how it works, maybe out on one of your sites. Resources that we have available when it comes to Business Center. Number one is our TBC macro community pages. Real easy way to see and download what macros that are actually out there. Another resource that you can go to is Rockpile Solutions and download the TML status macro that will allow you to essentially automatically download and install all of the macros that are available within the Trimble and Rockpile Solutions arsenal, so to speak. Business Center can be found on 2 different web pages, construction.trimble.com for those who are construction customers. That's where we try to get you guys to go to get this stuff. Not to mention that is exactly where you're going to find these webinars that we are presenting right now, specifically to the construction community. And then there's also the geospatial page as well too, where they have these webinars also posted that you can find bulletins and customer stories. Other resources, you can go to TBC Construction and Survey YouTube channel. These can be accessed directly out of the Business Center software or going to the following sites as posted. Lots of good information there for you guys to continue your own study as you learn and use and practice Business Center. We have our Business Center Power Hours. The next one, and I'll touch on this a little bit more in a second, but the next one is going to be in April. I'm not sure where Geospatial is. I know they just did recent one on the Wingtra drone solution. So I'm assuming they're not going to have another one till April. Josh, do you know any more about that?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay. We have our community forum pages. If you guys want to get in touch or touch with your peers out there working with different companies having the same problems as you guys are having or looking for same solutions, that is the best way to go and reach out and actually get your name out there, as well as getting any type of feedback from Trimble in itself too. We have people within the company that will be signing on and answering questions and posting for you. The Trimble Retrieve site that we have is dedicated to your guys' training via video and resources provided. Another link through Business Center that you can get to. Some have some small fees, others are free. So do go and check on that. You can also log in via your cell phone as a application. So I kind of touched on this. Your next steps, really, if you guys are interested in this is to reach out to your local SciTech and they will get you set up and good to go. Our upcoming TBC Power Hour is going to be based off of Stratus, which is our automated drone processing solution. How that data gets out of Business Center, properly uploaded to Stratus, and then those files brought back down to Business Center to be used for whatever it needs to be.
So sorry, Nick, if you could go back one slide here. So on the geospatial side, I do have some news. Looks like there are a couple Power Hours scheduled for this month, actually, of March. First is the Wingtra one that's still yet to happen, actually, on March 18th. And there's another one scheduled for March 25th for finding and correcting common field data errors. And more information can be found on the TBC news page on the start menu. So it's a good place to start. Perfect.
So as the questions come in, we'll get those answered and sent back out there. Thank you all for joining us. We look forward to seeing you in the future.